Election Day across America. And while there are no statewide contests here in Wisconsin, the effects of what happens elsewhere will almost certainly shape what happens in the Badger State in 2026. We'll talk live with Wisconsin Watch political reporter, that is, Brittany Carloni, about what lies ahead as Wisconsin decides. Constitutional crisis? Late this morning, President Trump announced via his social media platform he intends to defy court orders, saying his administration is required to pay SNAP benefits to millions of Americans, including some 700,000 Wisconsin residents. And here to break it all down, two-time chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin and attorney Matt Flynn. And the man regarded as the most influential vice president in history with ties to Wisconsin, Dick Cheney, has died. He was 84. All that, your calls, and what's worse, a special edition of the Todd Allbaugh Show starts right now.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer. It is 7 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome, everybody, to the world headquarters of Civic Media, downtown Madison. Sky is partly sunny, a few clouds here and there. A beautiful autumn day. Enjoy it today and tomorrow as forecast. Going to get chilly, maybe some snow in parts of Wisconsin, at least light snow by the weekend. Big show, as our open indicated, lots going on news-wise. Aaron Zommers, good to have you along. And a quick programming note for our listening audience. We're experiencing some internet difficulties here at Civic Media. There may be other wider internet outages going on right now. We're working on that. I can tell you, I just checked on the old free, listen to this. I can listen to myself on the Civic Media app. I just dialed it up on my phone. So if you're not hearing this across the air, download the Civic Media app for free. It takes less than a minute. It's what Gail King calls a deal. You can listen to us on the Civic Media app. First station on the app, WAUK and WMDX. That is working right now. So if you're not getting this other usual places, check out the Civic Media app. Zommers, our great engineering team is on top of it.
That they are.
Very good. Let's get right into the show. And joining us via StreamYard, at least audio-wise, because due to those technical difficulties, not able to get the video. But that's okay, as long as we can hear him. That is the best way to go. We're going to get to Matt Flynn in just a minute. But the breaking news late this morning, this according to MidasTouchNews.com, has also been confirmed. Other news sources, CBS, NBC, CNN, Associated Press, and others. In a stunning escalation of the standoff over federal food aid, President Donald Trump announced that he will refuse to comply with a federal court order requiring his administration to release emergency funds for the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, otherwise known as SNAP, potentially cutting off all food benefits to millions of Americans. The defiance follows a ruling from U.S. District Judge John McConnell of Rhode Island, who last week ordered the Trump administration to unlock billions in emergency USDA funds to keep SNAP operational amid the ongoing government shutdown. The judge's decision was hailed as a lifeline for 1 in 8 Americans who rely on the program, but the White House's latest reversal now threatens to plunge those families back into crisis. Here to break it all down, as the late, great Judge Weissman was fond of saying, to put it down there where the chickens can get at it, our friend and ongoing contributor, two-time chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, and attorney and author, Matt Flynn. Matt, thanks for joining us on short notice on a busy news day.
Great to be with you, Todd. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot to talk about. And this thing this morning is beyond belief, the defiance of a court order.
really appreciate you coming on because, look, you and I are, we like to have animated, I'll say that, partisan political debates. They're not so much between you and I, but just we like to hear ourselves talk when we get together, and there's a lot of fun to that. Nothing wrong with that. But this is pretty serious stuff, Matt. And I guess your initial reaction as an attorney, I'm going to start right off. Is it too soon to say, or are we about to be in potentially a constitutional crisis?
I think we are getting into it. And you might define a constitutional crisis as ultimately if he defies a U.S. Supreme Court order. But define any federal court order is a constitutional crisis. And as I talked to you a little while ago, the way to handle this, but then I'm going to lay out quickly what the impediment is very, very hard to hold the president in contempt for a couple of reasons. He's the head guy. The Supreme Court has said that he has immunity and so forth. But what a court can do is hold a subordinate person in contempt, for instance, the Secretary of Agriculture. So one remedy I think that they should do is grab her into court, order her to pay. If she won't do it, for whatever reason, put her in jail. Put her in jail for contempt. One night in a woman's prison, I think, will change her attitude. One problem with that everybody should keep in mind is that Donald Trump, quite frankly, is an enemy of the country. What he will do, he's pardoned people who are criminals. What if he pardons her and sets her free? Then you're going to have a clash between the police and ICE agents and FBI. And what he has done is he's corrupted the FBI, he's corrupted the CIA, corrupted Homeland Security. And basically, if he controls force, he can do what he wants. That's the constitutional crisis.
I'm going to read folks that might not have seen it. We're talking with Matt Flynn, two-time chair of the Democratic Party, also an attorney who is our ongoing contributor here on the show. And I'm going to read. I'm going to skip over the partisan, just hyperbole stuff where he attacks Joe Biden and things like that. This is from Donald Trump. He calls it his Truth Social platform, his own social media platform. Here's the main line of what we're talking about today. And it says, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed to anyone, the SNAP benefits, as opposed to asking for those in need, which is supposed to be the purpose of SNAP, it will only be given when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do and not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump, unquote. That is a direct quote from President Trump. So I want to be careful, Matt, on my part. Because look, it can be fun to dive into this from a partisan political standpoint and score political points, right? As a person who comes on and you're trying to get ratings, right? Trying to get people to listen. But I want to be really careful on my part that I'm not just kind of diving into this for political purposes. Is there a difference, Matt Flynn, from a legal perspective of Donald Trump putting a Truth Social post out saying this is not going to happen, and then his administration actually not doing it? Are those two different things from a legal perspective?
Yeah, there is. And frequently, Todd, what he will do is he'll just say something that's false and he is a threat. For instance, the 10% tariffs on Canada haven't been put into effect yet. So he's very capable of shooting his mouth off. However, in this case, it would be contempt of court if he did that. And Rollins, the agricultural secretary, should be the one the court puts in jail. Having said all of that, he frequently backs down. And when the people in Wall Street and the people in the tech industry say, what the hell you're doing, he is capable of influence. So I don't take at face value anything he says. But when he's the president, you've got to take it seriously at least. And in this case, what he said is, I will not let any SNAP benefits go out. And he said that, and so we take it for what he's going to do until we see differently.
You brought up Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins. According to CBS News, she said this morning on X, formerly Twitter, that her agency sent that guidance to states this morning, but warned the guidance from the courts from yesterday saying they had to pay this out, but then warned that it would be, quote, a cumbersome process, unquote, that could result in a weeks-long delay in food stamp payments going out to recipients. Quote from Rollins, if the government opens, families get their full benefits much more quickly, unquote. CBS News has asked the White House for clarification about what the president's post means for the contingency funds, and as of about a half an hour ago, the White House had not yet responded. So again, Matt, to me as a non-attorney, just someone out there, looking out for Wisconsinites, it seems to be just more political partisanship here on one hand, but on the other hand, I have conversations with friends, Matt. You and I have talked offline about, should I come on this show and quote unquote call it? Like you're watching a football game and you're in the middle of the third quarter, fourth quarter, and you're like, we're down by 2 touchdowns. I'm calling it. This game's over. I have not come on the airwaves and quote unquote called it for democracy because by and large the courts have held and the Trump administration by and large, not fully, has acquiesced. But this seems to be a crack in the armor, if you will, to that, where he's openly now and defiantly saying, at least, he plans to defy a court order.
Right. Well, he's also said that he is now the Speaker of the House. He's defied Congress. And they're chicken. They're not going to go up against him because they're afraid of primaries and death threats. So what you have left is the court. Now, the 6 tarantulas, was what I call them on the Supreme Court, what will they do? I do not think that they can, in good faith, say that he does not have to obey a court order. So what is he really saying? Is this more engendering doubt? In other words, Rollins says it's going to take weeks and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, we won't do it. And they dribble out. The judge is going to have to say, I want Rollins in here every day at 10 in the morning and tell me what she's done. Because you can't say I'm going to obey a court order and not do it in a sneaky way. In other words, just say, well, there are impediments and all that. Right. At some point, you have to put her in jail.
And we've seen that in Chicago, have we not, Matt Flynn, where this judge in Chicago has ordered in the regional head of ICE because he's defying her orders.
Well, that's right. And then the Seventh Circuit quashed that part of the opinion, saying he didn't have to go in every day. But the more people that impose injunctions on Trump, and he tells them, well, it's going to be hard and this and that. At some point, sneakiness can be enjoined. Sneakiness can be punished with jail.
Great article that came out in the Isthmus here in Madison. It's a paper publication, can also be found online. Great reporter, I'm sure you know him, Matt. Steve Walters, formerly of the Journal Sentinel, then Wisconsin Eye, and now also writes for the Isthmus, has a great article entitled Statistics Show Reliance of Wisconsin Residents on Food Stamps and Obamacare. And I want to come back and talk with you about this because I think a lot of people believe my former party, which I left in 2011, the Republican narrative, that, you've only got the quote-unquote lazy people on these programs. But according to Walter's reporting, 1 in 9 Wisconsin residents rely on food stamps to feed their families, officially called Food Share Program. It provided $115 million in Wisconsin benefits in September. 1 in 20 Wisconsin residents are enrolled in Obamacare, and yes, that's the same thing as the Affordable Care Act. So what does this gamesmanship in Washington, what does that really mean for us here in Wisconsin? We'll discuss it and ask our colleague and our friend here on this show, Matt Flynn, 2-time chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin and attorney. Also happens to be a Navy vet and an author. Matt Flynn and Todd on the other side on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Keeping Madison caffeinated and conversating. WMDX.
There's nothing like the perfect bra fitting. And at Allure Intimate Apparel, that's exactly what they deliver. Their expert bra fit specialists offer one-on-one bra fittings in a graceful, no-pressure environment that celebrates every silhouette. Allure is here for real life, where confidence always comes first.
Okay, I think we're not going on the air.
But we don't know for sure.
Right.
If we're going on the air, hello everybody. We're in a
Visit their
commercial
new
break, but we're
location
going
at
over the air.
Millville Shopping Center in Madison, or visit allurefits.com. That's allurefits.com.
You gotta love technology, Matt Flynn.
Actually, I don't, because I'm looking at the screen that says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you, and you can't see me.
I know.
Thank God you can hear me.
Well, yes, I'm very. Your voice is coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, so's yours. But when I click, it says you have it open another app. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Right?
I don't either. I'm just. You know what I did this weekend, Matt? That was very relaxing. I had gone to Richland Center, and one of my former colleagues at WRCO passed away about a year and a half ago at ripe old age of like 91, 92. And he had a big band program on for years, and his family had a little, not really an auction, but you can come to the local record store and buy his vinyl and donate for a memorial fund. So I did that. I went home and I put on some great Tommy Dorsey on vinyl,
wow.
and that was relaxing. No digital, just good old vinyl.
That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. GiveShelter.org/thrift to learn more.
As a fellow veteran, we understand what it means to serve on a team. A suicide on a team is devastating and a real risk for
30 seconds.
Thank you.
you or someone you know is struggling.
On this side of the law, on that side of the law. Who is right, who is wrong, who is for and who's against the law?
Welcome back to the
Well,
Todd
you
Allbaugh
see,
Show,
I
the Civic
didn't
Media Radio
really
Network. You
mean
hear a little
to.
Johnny Cash, in particular that song, that Matt Flynn can't be far behind. He's a two-time chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, an attorney and an author. He joins us via StreamYard from his home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And, Matt, I got this text from my former boss, Dale Schultz, who's trying to listen in. He says, quote, "Your radio show is all screwed up." Unquote, which a lot of people would say that, but for those trying to listen over the air, we understand there's been some major. We don't know whether it's internet snafus or what. Our engineering department is working on it. So if you're trying to listen over the air, we know things are all screwed up. Yes, Dale, we know, but thank you for the text. Download the Civic Media app. Check us out on the Civic Media app. Because go to MDX AUK, the first 10 stations. Last I checked about 5 minutes ago, it was still coming across the Civic Media app. So apologize for the technical difficulties, as they say. But Matt, you're a professional. We're going to press on here talking about this announcement from President Trump a little while ago on his social media platform saying that he intends to defy the court order saying that his administration must pay out SNAP benefits even while the federal government remains shut down, and now the longest governmental shutdown in the nation's history, surpassing Trump's own record. And Steve Walter Steve Walters has this great article on Isthmus where he points out that the way this affects us here in Wisconsin, that 1 in 9 Wisconsin residents rely on food stamps or SNAP benefits, and 1 in 20 are enrolled in Obamacare. And just another reminder, only U.S. citizens and legal immigrants can qualify for food stamps. Matt, this political partisanship, this gamesmanship in D.C. has some very real effects on those of us here in Wisconsin.
It really does. And one possible and simple solution is that the Democrats and Republicans in the Senate get together and agree on a budget that includes the subsidies for Obamacare, includes food stamps, and passes it. Trump would veto it, and 67 senators can overrule it. But it's important to point out that the Republican Congress is as complicit as Trump in all this. They're as complicit as Trump. If Obamacare goes away because the premiums get to, $40 grand a year or something. Let me give you an example. Greene County, I'd say most of the old age homes their people aren't going to be able to afford them. They have to go back in, move in with their kids. I mean, this is going to have a real impact on a lot of folks, including Republicans.
I couldn't agree more. And Steve Walters in the Isthmus points this out. According to the nonpartisan Wisconsin Fiscal Bureau, they said in the report that a single person with an annual income in Wisconsin of $37,650, annual income, paid $125 per month for a second-level silver plan for the ACA or Obamacare. But Insurance Commissioner of Wisconsin Nathan Hudick gave the example of how Obamacare premiums would increase if Congress doesn't extend these tax credits. That same 26-year-old making just over 37 grand, paying $125 a month, Matt Flynn, that would increase by $1,437 more a year in Milwaukee County and more than $1,500 in Dane County. And for a lot of young people, that they're going to have to decide between health care and food, are they not?
Yeah, they couldn't afford it. And there are some that have gone up to, for a family in some areas, $40,000 a year. They can't, for the premiums, they can't afford it. And the real fear is that Trump frequently will impound money that Congress told him to spend. And so one of the problems is he could say, I'm going to pay SNAP benefits and I'm going to pay this, and then not do it. And then he sits back and he is contemptuous.
A speed round here, Matt, about 2.5 minutes left. Number one, when should we, the non-attorney public without law degrees, what action is going to happen or potentially happen in which we say, holy crap, this is a real constitutional crisis when it comes to Trump not obeying the courts?
I think that I would say that we're at that position now. The one saving grace is the Supreme Court hasn't backed him up. Getting to the Supreme Court takes a little time. But I think that right now, if I were the federal judge here, I would hold the Agriculture Secretary in contempt, order her into court, and put her in jail for contempt. Yeah. Then if Trump pardons her, that's got to go up to the Supreme Court. The problem is Pam Bondi won't take it to the Supreme Court because she's for Trump. That means that there's going to have to be an I shouldn't say extrajudicial, it's going to have to be the federal court itself in a very, very unusual action, puts special counsel in and sends it up to the Supreme Court.
Matt Flynn, a minute and a half left. Former Vice President Dick Cheney with ties to Wisconsin. Complex character in some ways, certainly arguably one of the most, if not the most influential vice president in our nation's history. Passes away today at the age of 84. Thoughts?
I'll simply say this. You never speak ill of the dead, so I'm going to say something nice about him. He stood by his daughter, Liz Cheney, who is a hero, stood up for democracy. He went on the floor of the House with her to give her support, and I liked that. And the second thing, as bad as he was, especially fomenting the Iraq War, the fact is that no one back then thought that he was for the Russians. No one back then thought that he was, this is a basic thing. He was for NATO. He was for Ukraine. So in retrospect, he looks good, even though, quite frankly, what he did with the Iraq War is terrible.
Yeah. And at one of the last things he did politically was endorse Kamala Harris for president and called Trump the single greatest danger to the United States of America. Not saying it absolves him, but I mean, I guess people at the end change. I don't know.
It's penance. He did penance.
He did penance while still living. Well, Matt Flynn, I appreciate you taking the time. You always make the complicated seem understandable from the legal standpoint. I appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Matt Flynn, two-time chair of the Democratic Party and an attorney. Always a pleasure to have him. Stay tuned. We'll talk Wisconsin Decides 5 Things to Watch with Wisconsin Watch. Stay with us. Farm News is next right now on Pam Yankee on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And who's against the law?
Where politics meet farmers market tomatoes. Your neighbors are talking. Leaders are deciding. Madison's story unfolds daily on 92.7 WMDX.
Well, they're going to try to restore benefits through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, but it's going to take time. I'm Pam Yankee with a quick update on what's happening in food and farming news on a Tuesday. And this delay is not only going to impact farmers and the supply chain, it's also impacting our grocery stores. Those details next.
As the weather changes, it can start to impact feed quality. Don't let your cows become the victims of the ration roller coaster. Adding Generator Elite to your herd's ration can introduce beneficial microbials that support gut health and help the herd navigate the highs and lows of feed quality, all while using less than an ounce per day per cow. Learn more about Generator Elite at bio-vet.com.
Innovation, that's BioVet.
Just since Saturday, the uncertainty of many people's food budgets and whether or not they'll find SNAP benefits, or in Wisconsin we call them food share funding, has turned into a dilemma for Wisconsin grocers. Mike Seaman, president and CEO of the Wisconsin Grocers Association, says they've seen a volume change just in the first weekend.
So we're still taking inventory, if you will, on what we're hearing from the grocers. Not unexpected. The food share sales are down a little bit because of the change in the program and the delay in the funds. Food share did have some funds that were still available. So if you were a food share participant and you had not used up all of those food share dollars, those are still able to be used in any grocery store throughout the state of Wisconsin, in any participating program and store throughout the state.
That's Mike Seaman, president, CEO of the Wisconsin Grocers Association. He said this has also turned into a personnel dilemma since so many people have questions about their food share benefits when they're in line at the grocery store. He says that turns into an uncomfortable position for grocery store workers trying to explain food share benefits.
From sugar beet fields to dairy facilities, producers count on an operating line of credit from Ag Country Farm Credit Services to help make their operations more profitable. With multi-year commitment options, digital tools, and remote deposit.
Okay, you should be able to hear yourselves think now.
Is that too loud, or is that okay?
Does that sound good? I think it sounds good to
your
me.
Ears okay?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Any song you would like today?
Oh my gosh. I need to come more prepared for this.
That's fine.
Wow. I really have a complete blank.
We got 2 minutes, so.
We got
Okay.
time. We got time.
I'm trying to think.
And community.
Oh, I saw the Bruce Springsteen movie.
Did you?
This
How
past
was
weekend.
it?
I thought it was good. I didn't go into it with a lot of knowledge of what the book was based on, so I didn't realize he struggled with depression. So maybe
Madison's home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
maybe Atlantic City from the Nebraska album.
I'm meteorologist Rodney Price.
Nice. I like that. And it's Carlone, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
sure.
Tonight, clouds in mid-40s or winds
I
will
tried
turn
to
the
put. I
west
followed
and
you on
northwest.
Twitter. I tried to put
Nice.
out a thing you were going to be on.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting the suspended. So
Oh, no.
our internet.
Wait,
here
you
is
got
fried.
suspended?
No. Like it says, the
Oh,
upload
okay.
is suspended. No, I didn't
thought-
get suspended.
I was
The
like,
upload,
wait, you got
yeah.
banned from Twitter? What the hell did you do?
I still think about the last time you mentioned you got banned from Marquette's campus.
Yes. True. Well, I'm banned necessarily. I'm like kicked off.
Yeah.
Kicked off. That
Yeah.
much is true. I know.
Too funny.
Damn Marquette
Too funny.
people. Oh, yeah.
Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I really liked that Bucks win last night over the
That was
Pacers.
crazy, wasn't it? Last second shot like that.
But it's like that's how the Pacers eliminated so many teams during the playoffs, so it's kind of...
I think Doc Rivers said it's nice that we got one of those
I know.
for once.
30 seconds.
All right, thank you.
The suggested title.
Well, they blew up a chicken man in Philly last night. They blew up his house too. Down on the boardwalk, they're getting ready for a hell of a fight. Gonna see what them racket boys can do.
Civic Media Radio Network, 35 now past the hour of 3 o'clock. Well, or 2 o'clock. Believe me, the first half hour felt like an hour. Welcome back to the show on a Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Zombers on the board. Play a little Bruce Springsteen there in honor of off the playlist here of our next guest. She is the political reporter at Wisconsin Watch. You can read all of her reporting at wisconsinwatch.org. That's wisconsinwatch.org. Brittany Carloni joins us here in the studio. We love it when that happens. Brittany, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Excited to be back.
Now, you went to the Bruce Springsteen biopic here recently, isn't it?
I went with my mom and my sister and my brother and my sister-in-law, and we all really, really liked it. My mom, big Bruce Springsteen fan. If you're listening, Mom, hi.
I'm a big Bruce. Years and years ago, before at the Bradley Center, I went and saw Bruce Springsteen with my dad.
Did you go at the Bradley Center in the 2010s?
Yeah.
So I went with my mom and my sister.
Get out.
We might have been in the same place.
Probably were.
Didn't even realize
that was a great concert.
It was such
like
a good
3
concert.
hours.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, you didn't come talk about music, but that's fine. That's fine. Give us a little breaking news, Brittany, because we've talked to this program, not necessarily with you, but with other folks in this program about Department of Public Instruction Superintendent Jill Underly, who skipped out on a Wisconsin Assembly Committee hearing about a week ago so she could go to Indianapolis or Indiana, rather, to accept a alumni award. And they had another hearing today, and by golly, it sounds like she showed up.
So before the Senate committee, there were Dr. Underly and the Department of Public Instruction, they had a press conference this morning. But yes, she is sitting before I believe it's the Senate Committee on Education, and she's been taking questions from senators since probably about 1 o'clock.
All right.
Well, so she is there.
I know you're a straight line reporter, but as an opinion person, I will give her credit because I've been pretty hard on her for not appearing before elected officials as the elected head of that agency. So props to Dr. Underly for showing up today. Be interested to see what comes of that and what her answers are to those questions. You are coming today to talk about this great new important article at wisconsinwatch.org entitled 5 Things to Watch Over the Next Year as Wisconsin's election cycle begins. Now, today is election day for many places, like the mayor of New York City, the governorship of New Jersey, of Virginia, and, of course, the big Prop 50 bill, or not a bill, I guess, but proposition. We don't have those in Wisconsin, but out in California. But no big statewide races today. If people are listening, they don't have to worry.
Yeah,
they
don't worry about
anything.
going to the polls. Not today. There's the calendar needs to hit 2026 for Wisconsinites to get out to the polls.
And that's what your entire article here is about. And it's not going to be long. I bet you another week or so. And the first race in your article here, there's yet another race for Wisconsin Supreme Court.
I know. Obviously the Supreme Court race earlier this year really grabbed a lot of headlines in the state, of course, and even across the country. But there's another Supreme Court race literally around the corner. It's looking like that race will probably be Maria Lazar, a Waukesha, former Waukesha County Circuit Court judge, and between her and Chris Taylor, who I believe a former Dane County Circuit Court judge, they're both on the Court of Appeals, but they're very much political opposites. That race would be in April. There's going to be a lot I'm hoping to write about that, even though it's not likely going to be a race where we're going to see the spending numbers that we saw earlier this year.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Right. And some of the folks that I talked to say, especially because that race is not for a majority on the court at this point, it's kind of a sense of does the progressive side expand the wing of that court, or do the conservatives kind of come back a little bit there? But that's a race that I think is probably not going to draw as much attention necessarily, even though Supreme Court races are very important in this state.
And the vacancy has occurred because Rebecca Bradley, this is my opinion, not yours. I call her the bad Bradley. I got that because we had Ann Walsh Bradley from my hometown, Richland Center, and we had Rebecca Bradley. So there's the good and the bad. I got that from my friend Matt Flynn. But Rebecca Bradley decided not to seek re-election, so it's an open seat. But to your point, even if Lazar would win, the conservative candidate, it would be still 5-4 liberal. of the court. So you
Exactly.
think that will tamp down the spending?
That's what I'm hearing from folks that I've been talking to, where the last couple of years, that really big draw of trying to gain a majority for either side of the court, that's something where people wanted to spend money, whether it's Elon Musk or other types of people. They wanted to spend money to make sure that a certain side would be victorious. And in the last couple of years, it's been the more progressive candidates.
I happened to hear Judge Lazar on another program today, and for my money, I think she's going to be the toughest candidate for conservatives in a long time. I mean, they've been putting up people like Gableman, who's straight out. You're too young, but I mean, straight out of the Three Stooges. I mean, all he's doing is look at the grouse. I mean, that's the only thing that Gableman's missing. But to me, Lazar, she seems like a legit candidate, and I think it's going to give conservatives a real chance to pick up the seat. I'm not making any predictions. I'm just saying I don't think this is going to be one of these races where the liberal is the clear favorite.
Yeah, I think this will be interesting, especially because she's really put on her campaign website, Judge Lazar, she's indicated and really pushed very hard the messaging of I am a judge. I don't lean toward either party. And that could be something where Chris Taylor, with the experience in the legislature, that could end up being, I can see that being a big messaging point from her campaign.
Agreed. I think they've got the messaging down better than previous, more recent conservative candidates for Wisconsin's Supreme Court. We're talking with Brittany Carloni, who is the political reporter at Wisconsin Watch. You can find her new article, which is outlining these important races and 5 things we need to watch going into 2026. All right, Brittany, next up is, will Democrats flip the Senate? Will Republicans maintain the Assembly majority?
Yeah, everything that I've been hearing since I started this job back in September, people are really, really focused in on whether Democrats will win that Senate majority. And I think if you look back to 2024, which seems very long ago, but if you look back, if you look back to 2024 elections, Democrats in both the Assembly and in the Senate made gains in both chambers, and specifically Senate Democrats really see the seats that they were able to gain last year as a way for them to really compete for that majority. And I think that would be a big deal, because I think I indicated, looking back at all the good blue book lists, the Republicans have controlled both chambers since 2011, and so for that to change up, I think would. I'm not sure what that would do, but I think it would change some things in the building to the, I think, north of us. Is that where it is?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Your article here at Wisconsin Watch, the Senate Democratic Campaign Committee is eyeing 3 districts currently held by Republicans in portions of the state where they have these new legislative maps that are being tested for the first time. It includes the 5th district held by Senator Rob Hutton, Republican of Brookfield. The 17th district held by State Senator Howard Markline, Republican of Spring Green, and the 21st district held by State Senator Van Wangard, Republican of Racine. And then Democrats running those districts include Representative Robin Vining of the 5th, Representative John Jacobson in the 17th, and Racine Transit and Mobility Director Trevor Jung in the 21st.
I'm especially interested in those southeastern Wisconsin seats, especially because some of those suburban communities over the years have gone further and when I was growing up, they were deep, deep red. And as the years have gone by, and I think more people have moved into those areas, they're not quite what they were when I was a kid, and those elections were very, very solid for Republicans.
And State Senator Van Wangard, there's a guy, I mean, he was beaten once, and he came back to the state Senate. So, I mean, he's been down that road before. The 17th in Southwest Wisconsin, where I'm obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but for those listeners, that's where I grew up, and worked for former State Senator Dale Schultz. That was his district. That's really changed to pick up from the Mississippi River now all the way into portions of Dane County. So that certainly has become more blue. Howard is going to have to, he does not currently live in the district that he represents, and he would have to move if he won.
Yeah. But I have heard, Senator Markline, I've heard from people that he really works his butt off when it comes to campaigning. And so we'll have to see. Who's to say?
He goes around and has listening sessions, but doesn't take any questions.
Well, that's good to know.
I've seen it in person, so
Yeah.
I can give you reporting on first-hand reporting. All right, and let's get into the governor's race. We got time here. Who will be the gubernatorial nominees? I ask you, Brittany Carloni.
Wow. I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you, but I think at this point, if you look at the Marquette University Law School poll from last week, I think there are a lot of people that are really undecided. They're either undecided or they don't know enough, like this far in advance. And so I think on the Republican side, it's kind of a question right now whether Josh Oman stays in terribly long. And I think I spoke to somebody last week who mentioned that, especially for Tom Tiffany, with the fact that he has a congressional district that includes 700,000 plus people, that already gives him a base that is hard for somebody else to compete with. So I think it's very likely that Tom Tiffany is the front runner on the Republican side at this point. For the Democrats, that is a very large field. There's a lot of time until primaries in August, and there are those outstanding question marks, like if Mandela Barnes jumps in.
Right. You write in your article in Wisconsin Watch, you talked to former Tommy Thompson, as a Department of Commerce Secretary, Bill McCoshen, who's also a Republican operative of this state. And he you put this quote in from McCoshen, quote, Republicans did a lot of damage to themselves in the 2022 primary and weren't able to put the whole House back together in time for the general, McCoshen said. There are a lot of Republicans who sadly did not vote for the 2022 Republican gubernatorial nominee, Tim Michels, and we can't have a repeat of that. So to your point, it sounds like the Republicans are really trying to get their ducks in a row, so to speak, and have this thing sewn up in terms of the nomination before the first of the year.
I mean, that could be something that really benefits Republicans if they do that, because then Democrats leading up to the August primary are all trying to push each other out of the way to see who gets that nomination.
Yeah. On the Democratic side, you're right. It's a huge field. You write your article at Wisconsin Watch, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley, Madison State Rep Francesca Hong, former WEDC leader Missy Hughes, former Madison State Rep Brett Halsey, Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, and Madison State Senator Keller Royce and beer vendor Ryan Sternad are all in. Based on money, what we saw from campaign reports, it would appear that Lieutenant Governor Rodriguez is the clear favorite there in terms of just money right now.
Yeah. I think I remember reading somewhere that the National Lieutenant Governors Organization has given her
like $2 million. I think.
Yeah. Which, I mean, in a field like that, money to get your name out there and let people know who you are, like that matters. That really does matter.
Don't hold me to it. I think our own political reporter Dan Schaefer said that I think Tony Evers won the 2018 Democratic gubernatorial race with a huge field as well for like 600,000 or 800,000 total.
Yeah.
So I mean that's
could be different.
Money, as they say, the mother's milk of all politics. We'll come back and talk more with political reporter at Wisconsin Watch, Brittany Carloni. After this, you're listening to the Todd Allbaugh Show across the state of Wisconsin on a Tuesday on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Catch Farm Report updates throughout the day from the Midwest Farm Report. Right
It's just
here
like
on
we could just be out on the street
WMCL.
getting a cup of coffee and yeah.
That's the fun part. Let's mention Mandela Barnes one more time, just to talk about that, and then we'll get into the third.
There was so much. I could have written probably thousands of words.
There's a lot right now.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect place where you can eat pistachios in every room. So don't shell out your life savings on a bad deal. Call Aaron Weber Group, powered by Compass, today. We'll get you into a home that's nothing but perfect.
The Communist Control Act of 1954, it's pertinent to the fight we're in. It's a tool that needs to be utilized, and they need to support the president in obtaining that objective.
Is Joe Gigante right? Does a U.S. law ban the Communist Party? Yes. The 1954 Communist Control Act bans the Communist Party, labeling it a conspiracy to overthrow the U.S. government. Though rarely enforced and mostly repealed, it remains law.
That sounds
Harvard
like
law
a
professor
Wisconsin
Mark
Watch
Fishnett said it could
fact check.
still be applied.
I think it is,
In
yeah.
June,
Oh my gosh,
Republicans
that's so
urged
funny.
It is a
President
fact
Donald Trump
Yeah.
to use
This
it
is
against
you.
New York City.
No,
mayoral
it's one of my
candidate
colleagues,
Zoran Bogdanovic,
Trisha,
a
I don't
Democratic
remember
socialist.
Trisha's
I'm
last
Trisha
name,
Young
but-
for Wisconsin.
Trisha Young. Trisha
Fact
Young.
There you
checks
go.
are bite-sized fact checks of trending claims.
That reminds
produced by
me,
Wisconsin Watch and GigaFact.
Summers,
Read more at
who does the one with the fife? You know,
Oh yeah, the Democracy Minute.
Yeah. There was one that played a Jane's show
I'm
today,
Dan
and all you
Schaefer.
heard was
Let's
the fife. You
recombobulate.
couldn't hear
We are
the
just
episode.
about 1 year away.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could, but it
26
was like.
midterm elections. The
So the
Democratic
deal with
field
that
and race for governor is
is-
very nearly set. Just
I
one
mean,
major
it's not your
decision
problem.
looms, and that's the
I thought I
one
should
from
mention
former
this to
Lieutenant
somebody.
Yeah, no.
Governor Mandela
Yes,
Barnes.
we are
Barnes
aware.
seems likely to run for
For
governor.
some
And because of
reason,
that,
the
his
people who send it
2022
to us,
run for
they
US
sent it,
Senate
and
warrants
the
a fresh
music was
re-examination.
all hand
So,
left,
in a new
and the
column
words
at the
were all hand
recombobulation
right.
area, I took a
And it was a
close
lovely
look
fife,
at that race
but
and his
you couldn't
campaign.
really
Barnes
hear
lost
the
to Ron
person
Johnson by
saying
about
anything.
1 point in one of the closest
I don't know if they
elections
didn't
we've
listen
ever
to
had
it
for
before they
Senate
sent
in
it, or
Wisconsin.
what?
That's kinda
It
what
was
it
a near
sounded
miss that
like,
reflected
so
both
I'm
Barnes'
like-
potential and limitations. In retrospect,
been a lot of
I think
goofy
his
things
campaign
happening.
There
may
have
be
been.
overrated
A full
and
moon
underrated
tomorrow.
at the same
Oh,
time.
that's
Is it?
probably
That might
why.
be
Either
Now,
today or tomorrow.
unfairly
Yeah.
maligned
That's
in his
probably
effort
why.
to
Full
unseat
moon.
a well-funded
Oh, boy.
two-term incumbent, overrated in how the campaign made certain strategic errors that proved costly in the end. If Barnes does indeed run again in a statewide race, he's going to have to do things differently in order to win.
Find all of Dan's work at the recombobulation area.
You can support animals in need in our community when you shop at Dane County Humane Society's thrift stores. Thrift Store West on Watts Road and Thrift Store East
30
on High
seconds.
Crossing Boulevard. Shop gently used and new clothing.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. The haunting sounds of Bruce Springsteen from his Nebraska album. Our guest currently here at the table here at the studios, Brittany Carloni, political reporter for Wisconsin Watch, just saw the Bruce Springsteen biopics. That's why we let our guests pick the music when we can, and that's off of the album Nebraska that film was based on, correct?
Yeah. Jeremy Allen White, the actor who plays Bruce Springsteen, I think he does a really good job. He seems to do really well in dark movies and TV shows like The Bear. He's always very depressed in The Bear. Anyway.
Not unlike Todd when I talk about Wisconsin politics a lot. Maybe I should channel the Bear more often.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, Brittany is here to talk Wisconsin politics. We appreciate that. By the way, Ross, listening in Crawford County on WRCO, says, do you know the sound coming out of the station is distorted?
Oh.
Yes, thank you, Ross. We appreciate it. And to all of our listeners, I apologize for the show today in terms of the sound. Lots of technical things going on beyond our control. Our great engineering team is working on it. So as they say, stand by. We are working on it. You can also, I did check the Civic Media app. So if you don't have it, download it on your Apple or Android device, the Civic Media app. Open it up. The first 10 stations are the ones that we are on. And I believe at last check that was working.
Oh, good. Good.
I may at 3:00.
Yeah.
I may just call it, and I'll go out and watch the Bruce Springsteen, and we'll just as Zombers, we'll just play the album, and that'd be fine. Don't you think?
I think that may be frowned upon.
Maybe. Also, a great segue, Zombers, because you're reporting, Brittany, at Wisconsin Watch on the 2026 Wisconsin gubernatorial race. It sounds like there may be some Democrats who are frowning upon another run by the former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes in the Democratic primary, but a lot of signals are being sent that he intends to run. What did you learn?
I think if you've seen some of the reporting in recent weeks from, I think it was the New York Times and even a black paper in Milwaukee, there's been some questions of whether Mandela Barnes can win in another statewide race after losing the Senate. Narrowly losing the Senate campaign in 2022, but I think some of recent polling and I think one of his PAC even last week had put out numbers that said that people would support him, and I think if you look at the Marquette poll, the candidates right now don't have a lot of name recognition, so he might have some pull there. It'll have to be something to take a closer look at if he makes any big decisions between now and the end of the year.
I think the Marquette poll was very revealing on a lot of fronts, which is most Wisconsinites don't give a crap about politics right now, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of things on people's plates in this between now and the end of the year, and the next time they have to think about the governor's race is really when they start heading to the polls in August.
Exactly. I mean, you got gun deer season coming up, which is essentially a Wisconsin holiday. You got Thanksgiving, you got Hanukkah, you got Christmas, you got Kwanzaa, you got all the things, and you got the Packers. That's
the challenge too. Is in the coming months there are some of these candidates could decide they don't want to do this anymore. Right. I mean, even earlier in September, if you go to early September, Bill Berrien was in the Republican primary, and he's no longer there.
Well, Bill Berrien got caught doing some things that were a little hypocritical. So that's speaking of that, you've got Derek Van Orden, the incumbent in the 3rd Congressional District, the Republican there in western Wisconsin. And you write about the headline, subheadline, will there be a congressional shakeup in the 3rd District?
And I don't know if people know this, you and I probably know this, but before Derek Van Orden won that seat a couple years ago, that was a Democratic congressional seat, and he won re-election in 2024 by I think maybe 3 percentage points. So I noticed that the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee has already earlier this year put that as another targeted potential flip opportunity, and around the country as redistricting discussions are happening in various states and there's a big question of who will control the House next year, I think there's going to be a lot of attention on the 3rd District seat.
Also in the 7th Congressional District, you mentioned incumbent Tom Tiffany, not going to seek re-election there because, of course, he's running for governor in the Republican primary. Lots of folks getting in on the Republican side. On the Democratic side, a guy that I got to know in my time at the state capitol, former state representative Fred Clark, who's a big conservationist, hunter, and now he's moved up there, subsequently kind of retired. Yeah. But looks like he's going to run on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, you have at least 3 people. You've got Jesse Eben, Ashland attorney Paul Wasgren, and Michael Alfonso, the son-in-law of U.S. Transportation Secretary and former MTV star Sean Duffy.
Have
you seen the videos from his time at MTV?
I have not, but
he's running around in his underpants.
Oh, okay.
And now he's the Secretary of Transportation.
You could do anything.
So I'm thinking that we may see Michael Alfonso in his underwear.
I don't know what to say to that.
I'm sorry. But in all seriousness, I think he's just playing on his father-in-law's, and probably Trump's going to put the stamp on him and say he's the guy.
I definitely think, and I already saw yesterday, I think Brian Stile already got an endorsement from President Trump for his re-election campaign. I think that does matter a lot to people still, even though
on the Republican side.
On the Republican side, even though President Trump won't be on the ballot next year, and it'll be interesting to see how he plays into that race.
Well, interested in your reporting, Brittany Carloni, and we have less than a minute left here, but I'm hearing that Brian Stile may have more of a problem down there than some people are talking about. That may be a surprise problem for Republicans.
I mean, it's something we'll have to watch, but I think from folks that I've been talking to, most people are looking at what happens in the 3rd District as opposed to his.
Brittany Carloni, political reporter at Wisconsin Watch. You can find all her work at wisconsinwatch.org. I appreciate you being here on this wacky day.
Love a wacky day.
Come on back. We'll try for hour 2 after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Is 92.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news and great conversation. A civic media station.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Operations temporarily disrupted at Reagan National Airport today due to a bomb threat.
United Airlines Flight 512 landed at Reagan National Airport from Houston. And just as it did, tower controllers told it not to head to a gate. Here's what it sounded like on liveatc.net.
We have an unconfirmed bomb report for your flight. We got to get you away from the airport.
The flight was directed to a distant spot on the tarmac, and bomb detection and K-9 teams were dispatched. After more than an hour, the passengers were offloaded there and onto buses. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
As the shutdown drags on, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warning that some airspace may be closed next week due to the strain on air traffic controllers who are working without pay. States and nonprofits suing for SNAP benefits are asking a judge to uphold an order for the Trump administration to fully fund the program assistance program. And the economy, a major factor for voters today, casting ballots in local and state elections. This is ABC News.
Local news, real voices, and conversations that count. That's Madison. And that's 92.7 WMDX.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at age 84, and his political career started right here in Wisconsin. He studied political science at UW-Madison in the 60s and worked for Governor Warren Knowles before he went off to Washington. He came here to the Badger State multiple times, making campaign stops during the Bush years. During his time as vice president, Cheney was one of the deciding factors to invade Iraq in 2003. And part of John Nolan is closing again tonight. Crews are closing the part of the street where you can turn left onto Broome Street so they can install a storm sewer crossing. Left turns onto Broome will be cut off starting tonight at 7, but will be back open again tomorrow morning in time for rush hour. Meanwhile, more construction right in that area. West Gorham Street is down to one lane in the area of Broome and Bassett. A company is building a 400-unit building on Johnson, and right now, crews are working on installing utilities. That's going to impact traffic in that area for the next couple weeks. City staff expect it to be back to normal by Friday, the 21st. And now it's time for our weekly check of prices at the pump. Here's Melissa Kay.
Gas prices fell 4.7 cents over the last week for an average across the state of $2.75. This is 4 cents per gallon lower than a month ago and 9.8 cents lower than this time last year. Officials at Gas Buddy say the drop in prices will be short-lived in the Great Lakes states. Refinery challenges will cause prices to rebound soon. They say the national average should hover in the low $3 range due to a snag at a California refinery and OPEC Plus announcing another boost to oil production for December. The national average could potentially decline slightly once refinery issues are resolved.
The average price for a gallon of regular here in Dane County today is $2.77. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. This is 92.7 WMDX News.
A Bucks win at the buzzer. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, a Bucks victory thanks to a jump shot at the buzzer by Giannis Antetokounmpo. 117-115 over the Pacers. Doc Rivers says, though, Giannis is getting fouled every night and not getting the calls.
I just think the way he gets officiated is not right. It's brutal, and hell, we can call a foul every time. Well, if you do, they'll stop fouling him. So, anyway, we won.
The Bucks road trip continues tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. College hoops, number 24th ranked Wisconsin over Campbell University, 96-64. Marquette beat Albany, 80-53. NFL, a report says Packers defensive back Nate Hobbs will now miss time with a sprained knee, and tight end Tucker Kraft out for the season with a torn ACL.
I mean, he's a hell of a player, hell of a teammate, hell of a guy. I'm bummed for him. I'm bummed for us. But now other guys are going to get an opportunity.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with Sports on Mike Clemens.
Local news, real voices, and conversations that count. That's Madison. And that's 92.7 WMDX.
I'm meteorologist Rodney Price. Partly cloudy heading into your Tuesday afternoon. A southerly breeze with a high near 60. Tonight, clouds in mid-40s. Our winds will turn to the west and northwest. That'll bring in some cooler temperatures for Wednesday. Sunshine returning, breezy in mid-50s. It's 57 at our studios.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Join me, Tom Hartman, each and every weekday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program right here on Civic Media. I talk about the issues that all Wisconsinites can get behind, from unrigging our economy so it works for all of us, not just the billionaire class, to improving our representative government, to delivering on the promise of we the people. Tune in middays right here on your local Civic Media station from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for the Tom Hartman program. Tag, you're it.
On the next Nightlight, I welcome
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock on the Civic Media Radio Network on this Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome, everybody, to hour number 2, I think, at the world headquarters in downtown Madison. Zommers is the outside. Is the Sam Davidson camera? By golly, that's working. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. Beautiful people out there in downtown Madison enjoying a fall day.
A couple of those trees across the street that have remained stubbornly green have begun to turn.
Started to change here in downtown Madison, yeah. Get out and enjoy the weather, folks, because weather's going to change by this weekend. Little light snow flurries here and there across Wisconsin by the weekend. So get out there and enjoy that. A little challenging. Zommers, a little challenging, where our great engineering team is on top of it. If our signal is not coming across, we're aware of it. We appreciate you letting us know. You can dial us up. It's a great opportunity. Let's make lemons out of lemonade, or lemonade out of lemons.
A little bit difficult to do it the other way around.
But wouldn't that be something if you can make lemons out of lemonade? It's a perfect time to download the Civic Media app. You could do it for free on your Apple or your Android device. Simply go to your app store, type in Civic, C-I-V-I-C, Media. It'll pop up a cute little CM logo. You can click on that, and you can listen to us for free on any of the first 10 stations, including WAUK in beautiful Waukesha, Milwaukee, and WMDX here in Madison. So that's going on. So check us out there. We appreciate you. And also appreciate Matt Flynn for being here and Brittany Carloni in our number 1. I get a lot of crap for this. People say, ooh, why do you print things out? You're wasting trees. Well, number 1, I'm dyslexic, and I read better off of paper than I do a screen. But also, when your internet goes down, look, you can still do a show if you have things on paper, by golly. You don't have to rely on the broken internet for your information, Zommers. How about that?
You know, there are a lot of benefits to analog technology.
Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm an analog guy living in a digital world. So we've got things to talk about, as it turns out. Here is something that I think a lot of people aren't paying enough attention to in these difficult times. Certainly, first and foremost, human beings' welfare is the most important, right? And SNAP benefits are being cut off right now. We discussed that in hour number 2. But an underreported and under-talked about situation as well, and I appreciate our great general manager here at WMDX in Madison, Catherine Lake, for bringing this to our attention. How about our pets, right? Because a lot of people they're like, hey, I don't have money to buy pet food and human food. I got to make a choice. And a lot of people are having a really difficult time with that. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can help those who are trying. There's an emergency pet food drive here in Dane County. Going to talk a little bit about that and about other situations like that as well.
That's important. Thanks to Catherine for bringing that up, because I did not think of that as somebody who currently doesn't have any pets myself.
All right, it's 10 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Let's see if this works. Time once again for a Wisconsin fun fact. Let's go.
Oh, Wisconsin, land of beauty, with your hillsides and
That's right.
your plains.
Time for another Wisconsin fun fact. On November 4th, 1998. I was alive for this one. I remember this one. On November 4th, 1998, Governor Tommy Thompson defeated Dane County Democrat Ed Garvey to win an historic fourth term as governor. Reminder, U.S. presidents are limited to 2 terms, period.
For now.
It's a good reminder. You understand? It's an important fact, but also a good reminder. U.S. presidential terms limited to 2.
Was that always the case? No. And then they recognized that was a problem.
Right.
It's an amendment. Amendment means a change.
The law, the Constitution.
We've got a couple of those.
Right. But I remember when Tommy Thompson, an unprecedented fourth term back in 1998. Wow. That's makes me feel old, Summers.
Yeah, it's
probably because
about a month before I was born.
Oh, Judas Priest. Are you really?
Yeah,
98.
December of 98.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Your birthday's coming up next month.
I suppose.
All right, should we talk about pets or should we do the thing?
I'm interested about the pets.
Yeah, all right, very good. Summers will decide we're going to talk about pets. Here we go. Dane County Humane Society, DCHS, is asking for the community's help to collect pet food and cat litter for an emergency pet food drive to support families in need. The organization's been hearing from families who are heartbroken at the thought of surrendering their pets because they can't afford to care for them with SNAP benefits on hold. Quote, it's a challenging time, but no one should ever have to choose between feeding themselves and feeding their pet, says Lisa Bernard, DCHS's